Silence. Order. I have returned to the demo scene, to all those people who were so mean. I will destroy everything they got. Make me your leader, vote for evil bot.
Let's start. What the fuck, guys? What the fuck? What the fuck?
He doesn't even have a microphone.
We don't need a microphone. There's a microphone there and there and there.
Awesome.
I'm feeling very surprised. So
we are being
the story as it evolved, from my perspective, was that Gargai started harassing us about 2 months ago with screenshots. And
I was harassing him.
Yes,
We didn't have anything issues 2 months ago.
So we
No,
knew
that's
you were
fine.
going
That
to
was
bring
the
out-
intended effect.
You were
Yeah.
going to bring out the big gun, so what choice do we have?
But
Those were fake. We didn't have any screenshots 2 months ago.
no. We did have that one single scene with the valley.
That and
The first scene.
and the stairs.
The first scene.
And
no,
the
the stairs
title
came. I mean, the
text.
stairs
Timeline.
changed
the
since.
title text. We had the
Yeah,
title text.
slide.
Oh yeah, title text we might have.
Yeah, that scared us.
No. I mean,
Oh, they have a title. They're calling it a peacock.
Yeah,
We have typography,
Oh my
guys.
god, they have taken. That's why we
already
didn't
had
have
a
text.
name for them.
Yeah, but even before we did that, we thought of like, yeah, well, that's just
The name
on
took a
space
long time.
conspiracy.
Yeah, we would have really liked to face you in even combat in space demo.
Yeah,
but
Sorry.
I mean,
To everything you did before, you did not do a space demo.
in all fairness, you didn't tell us what yours was about. So
Yeah,
so
we
why
talked
should
about that, but
You-
we thought it
let
would
me
be
put it this
better
way.
to not tell you because
I shared
your face
screenshots.
was worth it.
I shared
could
screenshots
still
and parts
have
of
been- Get a
music.
room!
You didn't share shit.
So
But we
basically,
said
it was
you were
unfair.
spying on us through Gargai.
You didn't have
So-
to. We didn't ask you to.
I know. I was just being nice
And it could still have.
because I wanted a
space
nice
demo.
compo.
Yes. And you got it.
Yeah, absolutely,
There's a lot of love between the groups.
absolutely. I love these guys.
Well, I sent you a text about like
You're
not
much
ripping
better
off
than
scenes
Fairlight.
from somewhere else, and you said, if it works, we keep doing it. So that was like 3 months ago, wasn't it?
They have to end
let me
it
put it
with
this
no
way.
offense.
Our process is non-linear.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
Explain.
which means that the music has been done for like months now, and all the visuals have been done in like last 2 weeks or
That
something.
sounds quite linear, actually.
No,
Let's
it's
do the music, do the visuals.
not as far as workload goes. No.
Yeah,
like
for
spice.
us,
But
it's
basically,
more like
do the music, do nothing.
The process goes like I write a tool for years,
Visuals.
then nothing happens, then Gargai does music, then nothing happens, then Zoom starts music.
But that's like a
Sorry,
week ago or
graphics.
something.
Then what I said was right. Then Zoom starts bragging about the music, then they clash, and then something comes out, and then Zoom starts graphics.
Oh, JCO has
and then
arrived.
the deadlines are Oh, and more people.
And here are the true heroes. Of
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
welcome. Sit down.
Yeah, over here.
Take a beer.
Könnt ihr euch auch da die Leiter
yeah, here.
Do not go anywhere.
Umberg, can I use your bottle as an opener?
So please continue insulting each other. That
No, I mean, but in all seriousness, I think the idea that we're close as friends, but at the same time not close enough to sort of share the entire process, just enough to, well, in my eyes, inspire. In their eyes, probably annoy, but
No,
Absolutely not.
It's a feedback loop.
yeah. I'm just like a good 64 compo is only good when there's at least like 2, 3, 4 entries that are really good.
Yeah, but what if we fed you pictures of like space things and planets? You would just go like, yeah, well, shit.
No, I mean, you have to ask him, but I think.
But you wouldn't go.
We would.
You wouldn't have made that face during the compo that you did.
What face?
I have no ability to see my own face, but I believe you on that one. It's just that like let me put it this way. First off, Boise told me like, oh good, they have Beyond 2 or something like that.
I saw
And-
some glimpses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had to set some spies on the mission, but honestly,
Says the spy who sends
I don't
screenshots to the
really
other.
care what the intro is about as long as it's consistent and looks good and it has like the flow of it. My first idea was, and I didn't tell you this because I was recording, but like
Yeah,
you,
about
you,
that.
you did.
Don't you know that you can download them later because you were recording our thing? So.
Yeah, but and this is for the revision organizers. They mix the audience audio and the videos on YouTube way low, and I wanted something that's like in the middle of the audience.
Oh, so an audio thing. Maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
We need the reaction.
yeah, of course. But my
Reaction
first
video.
reaction was they did
Hashtag
what
awesome.
we did, but they took it to a next level, and that's kind of what we want to do. Whenever we make something, we just want to take it to the next level. So when you did that, that's great. That's great. That means that someone else is pushing, and we don't have to.
And
We still might.
You're very welcome.
So, does that mean we have to make like a boring trailer the next time?
But it has to be better.
But it has to be better.
The new
You have no
Mercury
idea.
Horror Picture Show. So yeah, maybe we start with Mercury, guys. How has been the
No.
progress?
Before that, let's give it to the artificial guys.
Yeah.
Everything so far.
Artificial all the way.
Okay.
Yes.
As Hungarians, we're really happy.
Oh yeah.
So give us
Good
some
job,
inside
guys.
looks on your production and how you felt during the composing, maybe other productions. Yeah, just give us some inside looks.
Well, at first we have to shout out to our musician who is in Finland at the time and could not attend here, but he worked remotely really hard on the intro, and we really owe it to him. So this goes out to him. And
The music in the compo wasn't that good as it sounded on earphones. So you have to hear it.
You learn that. I've been
How
there.
do you mix that it sounds
Let me
good on
put it
these big
this way.
boxes?
First, you assume that the audio is going to break at the biggest party of the year.
Oh yeah. Several times in a row.
Because it has happened before.
Several times in a row.
I remember Screech Assembly.
How do you mix for
Basically,
this audio system?
there's a great musician from England called Ott, and some of you might know him.
Yeah.
What he does is he buys the shittiest pair of speakers he can, and he listens to all of his songs on his like actual studio monitors and the shit ones. And once he
Phones
gets,
are excellent for that.
yeah, just the cheapest pair of speakers you can get from the local computer shop. And once you get that sounding great, or at least acceptable on both, that's when you know.
And how do you make sure that the bass isn't too loud?
The bass can never be.
Impossible.
You are a physicist. You know the thing called the spectrometer? You look at it.
Don't burn him with
It's called visual mixing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was on purpose and I thought it was nice.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Oh, and that's the other trick. You just say it was all intended all along.
We wanted
the
a
concept
bass.
was-
Yeah. We just wanted a bass heavy intro.
it was meant to be like that.
Yeah, it was totally meant like that.
Yeah, you just don't get it.
Problem? What problem?
If you don't get it, we can't explain it.
But actually about the audio situation here in the hall, we did some measurements during the build-up to get some echo profiles of this hall, and I think JCO will supply, at least for next year, a profile for audio software, so you can actually use those profiles or presets to process the audio to get a better sound inside this special hall. So
Nice.
That sounds like a good idea for an intro that you don't want to see after the party.
You can make two
Could
versions.
we actually use that?
No,
That-
no,
that's
I
no-
wouldn't
that's-
want to because I want the audio to sound good
You can like a revision mode for
Like,
the
I want my audio to sound
But you
good.
can make a party version.
No final version, huh?
Party.
Well, no, you can make a revision.
Same everywhere.
Yeah, for
2017.
Yeah, revision involves response.
And like it like fades out like 2 seconds after the
you can
intro
make
is
no,
done.
there's because there's significant distance between the screen or the speakers and the middle of the audience.
It's the brain.
Yeah, but
There's-
I think
sound
the
takes some time to
I think the
develop.
most faithful revision emulation is like start the audio 2 seconds later than the intro. So yes, I hold a grudge. Yes.
So this is not the insulting studio.
We're just giving hints.
I didn't
for the
say
people
names.
We're just giving hints for the people in the PC.
have a cough
Commodore.
cavity
If you're
afterwards.
listening to this, and you know this party, so it's Epoch basically. Do what we say.
Yeah, do
it
what
right.
we say, not do what we do.
Yeah.
Oh, by the
Oh,
way,
wonderful.
I talked outside to Hellfire, and he also remembers like 10 years ago when you had, I don't know, 14 4K intros, 64K intros, and after the 7th one you get like bored, and there were like 2 ones and 1 good one, and now we have only 6, and by the way, Gloom, if you're watching, oh yeah, the
No,
number
please
of
don't turn
the
then
number,
turn up the
number of
volume.
releases is going down, but the quality is going up. So maybe your statistic cannot cover everything.
And Abyss, if you're watching, 64K is not dead.
And it will never be.
Yeah, but my point being that even Hellfire is now considering again doing a 64K. So I think
Mission accomplished.
Which is
mission
awesome.
news, right?
64K is dead, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Dead and loving it.
Necrophilia.
So let's get some more insights. So maybe you can sum up how your production came to be, what's the idea behind it, and maybe give some inside looks on how you actually managed to finish this. Because I talked to, I think, Urs this morning, and she told me like we are already done. And normally it's like let's extend the deadline.
No,
They were not.
we already did. One thing we've actually changed and started doing, similar to this people guy that does every days. We do something every week, and we've amassed enormous amounts
Don't
of
cover the
stuff.
sources.
Most of it is crap. So our new process is
Or just
filtering through
fucking-
the crap and assembling what's left of it.
So
And
it's the
turned
leftovers
out-
glued together.
That turned out to be better than producing crap at the party and then filtering it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Where did we get the idea from this people guy? How did we come up with
I
it?
don't know how. Somebody dug up the guy. I don't know who it was.
If there would be an NV scene this year, he would be one of the seminar speakers. I'm not even kidding.
Nice. Yeah, but
why is that happening,
But
sir?
he does give really nice talks.
Yeah.
I don't know if like you would censor them, but
No, why would we do that?
I think we had a Skype conversation something like almost a year ago when we
44
started
weeks
it.
ago.
45 weeks ago.
Yeah.
45 weeks ago.
You know,
How German of you guys?
The Germans, ladies and gentlemen.
No, because
It was a
we
Wednesday.
number our weeks. And today
That's
we've
awesome.
been
That doesn't make it
40
less German at all.
every week.
We had to deliver some product every
fucking
Sunday
Are you doing
evening.
some sort of scrum or something?
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
What?
I would rather
Thank you.
pull out all my fingernails than do Scrum.
Thank you.
Yes.
And that's how you know he
Regular
does.
meeting.
I feel for you, brother.
I will not talk about it.
It's a
all
deep
the other guys
trauma.
do their sciencey stuff, and
Yeah, and for us,
That's
it was basically just like we like space.
Yeah, space.
There's
Space is
cool. There's
That's the good thing about
Yeah.
your production in comparison to your production. Your production is more like, oh, we're humans and we're killing each other.
Well,
and your
our
production
production happened.
They do die.
I
but-
can tell you the explanation for our production. Zoom got a girlfriend, and then he immediately started doing an intro where the world.
Well, that's not true. That's
But
not.
he doesn't
That's
get a
no.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So
Like
Zoom did
4
not
months
have a
later.
girlfriend. Let's establish it.
No, don't take the message too seriously.
Yeah. But you have to point it out that it's a sequel to one of these days.
Yeah.
Yep,
Well,
it
not
is.
sequel, but a spin-off or something.
That's how you told us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it-
mentioned something about the
You
trilogy.
use the same font.
Yes.
That's how we knew.
It is a secret. It is a secret.
Oh, and he
can
was
say-
adamant about the font.
Yeah.
The first build I did was 69 kilobytes because he did put in
A
two
GIF.
HD GIF files,
Yeah.
which contained the end titles.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, font rendering is important.
69 kilobytes for one scene and the end titles.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's
no.
true.
Totally worth it.
Yeah. One thing I have to add to their intro, I would like to give a massive shout out to Red, who's not here, as
yeah.
far as I heard.
Yeah.
He's a happy father now. I love the guy. He does great music.
And she also
Well, I'm not
mentioned
saying he
this.
should be here because family first, but
On
you
the
know.
other hand, you should,
On that note, fuck you for not coming. But I miss the guy, so
yeah.
a big hand to
We did
him.
too.
So.
Yeah.
Right.
It was great.
So let's get to the newcomers again. Maybe you want to give some information how you started Proto, you can come up with ideas. Do you watch a lot of demos or do you try to just
First of
play
all,
and
we have to thank this guy, Ors, for bringing these guys from the University of Würzburg and dragging them to the first demo party, like, what, 3 years ago or something?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And that's how, like, they
See, if you would have been in the last Compo studio last year, you would have known this.
Yeah.
I was.
We've been through this before.
Yes. So it's basically last year but improved cause less drunk and no Toby. So
The drunk part can be fixed.
yeah, we have three at least. So yeah, maybe tell us something about how you try to get a production running and how you try
Compared
to
to
come up
last
with an idea.
I think it started with last year's Evoke. We, after the compo with Simon Ritter von Stampfer, which was very excellent demo.
Best demo ever.
Yeah.
We,
Naughty Struggle X people. We don't like them.
Yeah. Fucking
we
Danish
talked
people.
with some very drunk
Stealing our code.
Hungarian.
I wasn't there. I know who you're talking about. He will not be named. I'm no longer a function organizer, and I will not accept any responsibility.
And our musician who is not here at the moment just said to him, okay, we were doing the function invitation next year. But I think it was.
Let me know the Hungarian way of doing things. He wasn't asked; he was told.
Yeah.
No. It was like, yeah.
I
we
want
do
you
it.
to. I want to give you a chance to do so.
It was. He said we do it, and
If you want to live.
the dude
Otherwise, Gaga
was
would kill you.
he answered just with a laugh, and we thought, okay, yeah.
Well,
Then that's
why not?
Maybe he forgets about it tomorrow.
And I think you know better how the story continued. For
In October we wrote to him, so we're doing an invitation next year. Maybe you want to talk to us. When we heard nothing before 3 weeks ago, and then suddenly.
Then you set up a scrum board.
No, Dustin, Dr. Beat, the musician, he wrote to us. So this Hungarian wrote me, and we're doing the function invitation.
We are doing this. There's no question asked there. So
yeah, and the organizers came up with the idea of
No, he is one of them.
with the F16
F16.
because it's
Well, he didn't do the banner now.
I realized
I was
just
an F16, okay.
two or 1 days ago that F16 and function 2016. That's the relation.
They just got 1% growth.
And
Vibrating.
yeah, we've got the idea with.
Or maybe I have it.
Well, we have some sources from the internet too, and we found this video which has this layer effect, which in the front layer you've got normal animation and take some piecewise or some pieces from the animation, push it backwards. And we thought, okay, that's a nice effect. We want to do it.
Was that video Electronic Supersonic?
No,
Actually,
Because it could have
I
been.
have a question about
You have
that,
to watch
the
the video.
effect.
That's where the
Is
nice
that
stuff
frame
comes
rate
from.
dependent?
No, it's not frame rate dependent.
That's nice.
How is it not?
Yeah, I have. You have to explain it.
On camera.
If not on camera, then off camera. But yeah, I would usually like to know.
You just do it 16 times, everything.
Yeah.
Of course.
The panic way.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it works. That was our first idea, like actually mixing the animation in one plane together, but that would be frame dependent. But we just did it 16 times.
Yeah,
You
if
do
you
that?
render almost
Yeah.
nothing,
Awesome.
rendering
It's
16 times almost nothing is no
Brute
problem.
force all the way.
Yeah.
It's
It
just
works.
2D.
Why not?
Just
But I
just
think
works
I think
if it
we
works.
cannot give these guys credit enough compared to last year. What they did was just like way above what anyone was expecting as far as a group who's relatively new goes. Because
Yeah, I especially felt in this demo that you had complete artistic control over what you're doing. That was something
You might not have
then,
known
like,
yourself.
red scale all-
but then it started.
And when
this
you
demo
do, it's
started,
gonna suck.
We saw what's going on, and that I mean, the moment this layer effect started, Cooper said to me, "This is a new effect. I've not seen that."
Yeah.
So that's
It
always
was-
a very good sign.
Yep. Yeah, that was extremely good.
We should get a Vimeo account.
I actually like the we're doing brainwashing only, but what I have never, well, not that often seen again before is playing around with the distance fields and actually like mixing them together, which horribly breaks if you really want to be mathematically correct, but you can demo scene and demos, so it's
you fake it till you make
you
it.
just fuck it and
and do compositing in 2D.
and in two dimensions. It's,
Exactly.
it's even simpler. And the first effect with the layers and the awkwardly twisting thing was just some kind of torus twisted in it again.
I was thinking about gradients and Lipschitz continuity while watching it.
But you do that all the time anyway.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's just a little bit red.
But you mentioned like new guys and increasing of the level. So anyone knows who this group named Unknown was?
Oh yeah.
No.
Those guys.
I don't know, but if this was like their first production, and they maybe were here last year,
Apparently.
this is like from 0 to where they are now. I want to see.
I
them
wouldn't be
next year.
surprised if it turns out to be coolers again. I mean, that happens every few years, you know.
Someone told me that those guys were actually some Russian guys.
Well, they had a couple of scenes that looked really polished.
It would explain the surveillance
very much
thing.
like that. It looked very similar to what the Z Brothers are doing.
Okay.
I mean, in the shading stuff.
Because the Z Brothers intros are usually very blurry.
But this one was.
No, not.
Okay, how much did you guys drink?
Not the way working on it. This one.
Okay.
No,
More?
I'm good. I can get one.
Link für
On
das
that
Set.
note,
Do you want
Cryptic
to
is
create
here.
an
I can only.
so Bier ist auch scheiße.
Next year cocktails.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cocktails, hookers.
Fine, maybe.
Because of the end result, that's why not.
Let's have gin and tonic at the
Egg first gin tonic.
Yeah.
Can
They can join if they want.
Yeah. Get the Alcatraz guys as well.
Yes,
so.
please get Alcatraz and their gin
Not
and tonic
Toby.
in here, please. And not
No,
Toby.
they're only allowed in if they make an intro.
Yeah.
So
Tell them
bring
we want the
gin
intros.
On that note,
They actually helped several 4K groups. I talked to the Alcatraz guys like yesterday, and we had some newcomers and also some oldies who had problems with Vierklang, so I connected them.
That's a great topic for a compo studio.
Problems with feedback.
Explain your problems with Freeclan. Yeah.
We actually mixed up.
Now you have to admit it. Now you have to
Please tell this. Yeah. We've mixed Vierklang with V2 and used two synthesizers in.
I'm somewhat impressed now.
And also
Because that sounds like a fucking stupid idea. But if you can make it
try it
work,
until
you know.
Wednesday. went horribly wrong. And then somehow we fixed it last night.
It's one of those things where like there's no way this can work. Let's do it.
Was it like they are off by 0.36 BPM?
Yes. Gorga, just tell me you haven't done stuff like that before.
I'm not gonna admit to it.
I witnessed it though.
So, what was it? We have to throw away 3 samples every second?
That sounds like what I was expecting.
This is getting good.
No, at first V2 simply ran at 130.62%, 62 BPM, and Vorklang was perfectly at 130 BPM, and then we found some value and in V2 and subtracted 1, and then it ran fine.
Well, welcome to the demo scene. Hope you enjoy it.
Highly professional, skilled coders. Yeah, let's try it. Just
totally in control of what
they make it work.
I know, that's the sort of thing when you use source, you have like -5 comment because fuck you. Like, and it happened to every single one of us at some point in life. We have no idea why it works, but it works.
Sometimes it's our own code.
Yeah.
Mostly it's our own code.
Speak for yourself.
And there was the first entry.
Which one was it?
The Teva one.
Teva, yeah.
With Moon.
Hey, they used more than 4 colors, so.
Which is new.
Yeah,
No,
but
that
it
was
was
blue.
like a sort of a troll demo where that it was like a shitty demo until they started to do the round pixel thing.
Yes,
and
that's
that
not
was really
trolling.
awesome.
That's
really like that.
actually called the Hungarian Gambit. I'm not even kidding. There was an 8-bit demo called that, and I had to ask Format on why it's called that. Apparently, in the late 80s, early 90s, I'm not sure, that was a term used by someone in C64 Disk Mags when you show an effect that's kind of crap, but then suddenly you sort of switch it up, and then you switch it up more, and then you switch it up more. Apparently our guys were really known for that thing, and someone named it like that.
Yeah, because
And we'll
just
totally
so you know,
take
Teva
credit.
means camel in Hungarian.
Okay.
And we know who did that.
Yeah, we know who did that.
Who was supposed to never release intro or a release at Revision anymore. So the subtext
End
said-
sentence.
it just said never say.
Yeah. It's an old chanson song in Hungarian. But as Coupe noted, adding the correct spaces making it sound like a German sentence, but it wasn't. It wasn't supposed to be.
And German sentence about a bunny hopping on
On the moon. Yeah. But it's not supposed to be.
So, any opinions on any other entries we saw today? We had some other compos as well, like the photo compo. We had some music compos. Any entry you want to mention and talk
I
about?
was a bit disturbed that the animation compo was so little entries.
Yeah.
It was just because Gaspode made it to the.
He had to jump competition.
Because the Gaspode compo was.
And he had to win the Media Facade compo as well.
Ah, okay. Well.
That one I really.
But I'm kind of hyped to do more animation stuff again. But that's what I thought last year. So take a bit of grain of salt.
And then these bastards came along.
Yeah, well.
Well, it's not really like I had that much to do with our entries.
You did some color grading in the end.
And
So you are here for free beer.
We are like the concept art that enabled the scene that was the most impressive one, in my opinion.
We're like Donald Trump, make Psychon great again.
Exactly.
Which was the most impressive scene in your eyes?
Yeah, the one where the city is mirrored in the water.
Yes, the water.
It's funny because other people have been telling me that it was the moon with the craters appearing.
Yeah, the other one.
There was a technically.
Look, if you have two scenes in your intro where people can decide which one looks better, I think you made a good intro. So
maybe, well, maybe we just made 2 good scenes in a shitty intro.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, sometimes you have to do something that you like and not care so much about.
Yeah,
But
I
people might think about it.
Like
That's what
we
he
had
does
in
all
this
the
intro
time.
we had remarching rasterization, two kinds of volume rendering, particles,
Two fluid
two fluid simulations, impact simulation on a sphere.
Yeah.
And
We had textures.
you, on the other hand, had textures.
Textures, yeah.
And it fills me with a certain pride that the Saturn ring system we have has no free parameters.
That has to be
I just went at work. I work at the Meteorological Institute in Finland, and I went next door to the people that look at Saturn distinction. I asked them for a paper, and I implemented that, and there's no free parameters, and it just looks right.
Can you forward the paper to him?
Yeah. So you just in the tool we now have a slider for the grain size.
Yeah.
and the density, and that's a parameter, and then you get the correct ring colors.
Including the gravity resonances.
I really hope that after that, I really hope you actually won the comp, because I'm gonna feel shit if you don't.
If I have one thing, I can make you feel even more shit. I wrote like 4 or 5 of the fluid simulations until I got it right, so that it really looks like a thing on the.
That's you being terrible. But
You know that the fluid I haven't told you this, but the fluid simulation we're doing is wrong.
Oh,
it's a really tailored
See, I told you.
but we need a Kelvin Hamilton sensibility, but nobody except me would tell. So,
yes, okay, then don't.
And also, I introduced that in some parts the gravity would go up, and in others it would go down. So in the end, you would get like rings that flows. I don't know.
I'm guessing that's the part when you basically go like, this doesn't make any physical sense, but it looks cool.
Yes.
Yeah, but up to this point, it is correct. But then.
Yeah.
Art.
But then art.
That's when the designer happened.
Or the deadline.
About your question before, I like the Neo Geo CD stuff.
The what?
Oh yeah,
Well,
I guess
the
you
two
missed
Neo
it
Geo-
because it was in
old
the
school.
old school.
Oh yeah, I missed that.
The Neo Geo tractor demo was the audio was like, I'm not even sure this is
Tractor demo
possible.
was MSX.
No, it was Neo Geo.
Really?
Yeah.
Did I miss it? Oh.
No, it's the tractor one.
The tractor one. That
And
was.
the Bisu one.
Oh yeah.
A little bit.
Now you're scaring me, but yeah, like. I'm pretty sure the tractor one was Neo Geo, and I told Essa, like, I'm not even sure it's even possible to do this.
Atari. Was Atari
No, tractor was Neo Geo. Because they had 2 Neo Geo demos each.
No, it wasn't under the growing stuff. That was MSX.
No.
And that's impressive because MSX can't have growing stuff because of the tile-based graphics.
No, but that was, no. The tractor demo was Neo Geo. Because there was 2 Neo Geo demos each after each other. And the first one explained what the hardware limitations are. So the second one didn't have to.
Let me see.
Gin tonic?
You brought drinks, but no Alcatraz.
Ja, nee, das Problem ist, wir bräuchten noch jemanden mit einem Tablett und zum Tragen und dann könnte man das schon hier machen. Wer will denn Gin Tonic?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Please.
Ja, okay.
All of them.
Moki, please go fetch us the.
I'm the useless guy here, so you keep on discussing and
We didn't
somebody
want
has
to
stupid
say that,
question
but-
and stuff like that.
You're not useless. You
I get
give us
used.
gin tonic.
That's a good use of your time.
Dinge fixen.
Yeah, very nice.
So, jetzt wird es nur besser.
Okay.
So now the host is gone. Let's come up with some topics.
What is Cryptic doing?
Yeah,
I'm making a
The
synth,
approximate
apparently.
Velo, you can
Yeah.
come here as well, by the way. Velo is hiding there in the corner.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Please,
let's
come
bring
in.
Bello in.
Bello, come here.
We need a new host. You are the new host now.
Yeah. Bello is the new host.
Please take a seat.
Sit down.
When Moki comes in, we grab the drinks and then we throw him out.
So I'm making a synthesizer for this guy, and yeah, Bello.
Tell us about the
I just
synthesizer.
started working today, so well.
So it's already in the great steps of.
I've done nothing with it.
Yeah, but you made it go something. It's something.
As someone who codes synths, that's a start.
I'm just a humble programmer, but it goes
You know, baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
I think you're saying that your synth is in pain. It's in physical pain.
Will be.
Performance.
He'll make sure.
I'm pretty certain every synth I've ever used was in pain. So I think that's the state it's supposed to be in.
Yeah, but
Mine and me have a mutual understanding.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. For the most
Then
part.
Might still be some special kind of relationship. There are those.
Look, there's no king shaming, okay?
Yes. I hope so.
You didn't even have to.
But I did upgrade it for this intro, and I don't think most people would notice the difference. But
I certainly did.
I sure did, but hold on.
Go on. No, like you know. Okay, newsflash. Like the most people are outside, you know. They're probably going, oh look, it's a guy holding a torch. Like, no disparaging, but that's what you do. But you know.
I did.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. Ours didn't. I think it's a failed experiment, but we made an intro anyway. And Boise was so shocked that I told him like, yeah, it's not working. It's not the way I want it to be.
We fucking made an intro with it.
Yeah,
what
it's like,
the hell
we made
are
an
you talking about?
We made an intro, and I'm like, well, no, it's not working.
How is it not working? It's making noises.
Yeah, it doesn't make
There's more than just making noises.
It's the wrong kind of
Look. I mean, if you really want to make noises, you can just channel, dev urandom into dev DSP, and that's perfectly enough for Linux people to make noise.
We use Windows.
I was giving an example, okay? I'm a social.
Bad example.
But
who's here actually using it?
But the Windows system was important to when you're releasing, right?
I only boot Windows.
So you,
it's not something
you do everything on Linux, and when you're releasing, you port it to Windows, like in the last minute or something.
Is that
That
so?
explains a lot.
That explains.
I only boot Windows to start a demo tool. There's no other use for it.
Yeah,
we just boot Windows for compiling. Our
exactly.
chain is Linux.
That's me.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Why? Because
it's much easier to like fucking code on Linux.
What are the?
How can it be easier when you don't have Visual Studio?
Yes.
Why?
Because you have like other shit that's better.
You know what? Let's skip the subject because I said
I'm going to nuke this conversation by saying I do use VI in Windows.
There's a fist fighting coming.
I did use who wouldn't do it just as it works. Anyway, we should have a discussion about this after the Copy Studio. I'm serious.
Better be.
What do you want if you have
Here's a much better subject.
Vim versus
I think
Visual
this has
Studio.
been a long time.
I don't even use that because I still like my IDE, but
Please say it again, but louder.
I'm going to get killed by this.
I want to see this.
Our whole code chain is cross-platform. We can make
Linux
might
as well.
And Windows intros.
Exactly, might as well. I port it to Windows when I'm ready. So.
Nerds. I mean,
who cares?
No, we use
Actually,
below
there's
64K.
the most
There's a couple of elf packers, but they're
underrepresented
not
animal
really that good.
we know.
We did not
Platypus,
try to
obviously.
produce size-limited productions on Linux. We just can compile all Windows entries for Linux.
Can we
without-
just?
So what's the point?
We're on the exactly the same level.
We could.
You know what? Wait. Here's a much better
You do know that
subject.
the Yes, crunch is.
We've been doing intros as Conspiracy since 2003,
We
but it's been a long time that
I could have met you.
basically since around 2006 when we sort of had. It's a weird thing to say, but fixed opponents. When we were able to count on guys like these guys to sort of like step up to the plate.
And whoop our asses.
Yeah. Like, we don't necessarily want to win at this point because we just want to make something that we like and hope, other people like it. But when we get the motivation from all these people, then it's sort of just starts becoming a lot more fun, and I'm really glad that we're stepping in, a new generation of 64K, and
which intro did start that again? Which intro made you?
Gaia Machina. I know that's not what you were hoping, but
what was it trying?
But I'm not gonna please you.
This guy's
we're not that close.
You did that often.
But you have to admit, Gaia Machina was
that
one
was
of the
the one.
most sort of seminal intros to start the second generation of 64K in a sense, or second, third,
so
whatever.
Because
the next
it was like we can.
From my perspective, I joined Mercury in 2008,
And Lars basically forced us by, at least forced me by deciding of Matt to do this revision invitation Epsilon back then. And I felt this 64K is more like everybody does something, but then they go their own ways. And then suddenly now it happened that it becomes a thing again, and that's awesome. And I agree, Gaia Machina probably was the turning point. But before that,
it's all your fault.
It was just, the empty echo chamber.
I think Gaia Machina was the one because it was offbeat.
Yeah.
There was nothing going on at the time. So I mean, yeah, like the Timeless was obviously even bigger than Gaia Machina, way bigger. In a sense that like the popularity got outside the scene, which I think is sort of the. There goes my scene discussion.
There goes Gaia Machina.
On the other hand, we have drinks. Thank you very much.
There we go. Thank you.
I'm covered.
Can you give us some historic lesson? What was the 64K combo before?
I'm really
in the
Um,
last few years?
I can only talk for ourselves. In 2003, obviously the initial influence was Far Rush.
Don't have any bike parts.
Have a good trip, guys.
Cheers.
You all suck.
Fucking towards all years is not. Thanks.
But let's go back to this. I found this question really interesting, and would like to hear.
Won't you repeat the question again then?
Yeah. What the 64K combos were before that generation. So for someone who just started out a few years ago, what was it?
If you say we are in a new generation of 64K.
I think. I mean, I don't want to be a historian because I don't have the context right now. But you have Jizz, Stash, and all that Please the Cookie thing, and just sort of stepping up. But when you get like FR08, the product, that just changed the whole game because all of a sudden they.
Fucking boring flybys everywhere.
Yes, but they made it look easy. And I know that sounds bad. It's just that they released so much information about what they did, probably just for their own sake. But they released so much information that they made it look easy. Everyone was making generator 64Ks.
Yeah, well,
these guys were making that as well, and we were making that as well, and it was all horrible.
It still is.
but like it took that idea to sort of make us believe that it's possible that you can just sort of be the guy who just makes simple things with the good graphics artist.
We still hardcode it.
FR19.
Yeah, but for us it was certainly something that.
Well, you do know that FR19 was the intro that made Conspiracy possible.
Why?
Well, one of them.
In that competition, there was 18 intros.
He was at Mecca.
Right, I was my first Easter party was Mecca 2002.
Okay.
Where FR19 was released, and
how much intros?
18 intros, 18 64Ks.
Yeah.
And I came 17th out of 18.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. And on the way home, I thought, I saw that too. I can do something like that, and that was the spark that did this.
But you're skipping one. Planet fucking Potion.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Planet Potion is one of the most underrated
Polish guys. Oh my god.
That was where the flag idea came from as well.
Yeah.
Because Planet Potion was just like.
Planet Potion and Gift. Those were the two years. Yeah.
It just sort of 64K doors opened really fast after 2000, 2001, 2002.
For me it was like 3. It was like, of course, the dot product.
Yeah.
And all the rest, but also like TBL demos. TBL 64Ks, like Stash.
Jizz and Stash, yeah. I mean, I think anytime you make something, you sort of agglomerate influence, even if you don't know. It's like if you make heavy metal, you sort of pick up influences from Motorhead and Judas Priest, even if you don't know the bands, because influence sort of cascades.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Good. But influence cascades over time.
Yeah,
So even if people who if these guys wouldn't have seen the product, they still wouldn't have had influence.
Yeah.
Because they did something that was so huge at the time.
I think what you're trying to say is what Carl Sagan aptly described with standing on the shoulders of giants.
Absolutely,
Or
no question.
a
always
huge,
that.
a
Always.
huge pile of dwarfs.
What are you then?
Very, very true.
Being nailed on a very high tree, I don't know. It goes around. But yeah, definitely, I think 64K has sort of evolved to a point like it's initially after 2000 it's become very much of a. Smash used to say that there's a Fall Out Boy song that says this is not a scene, it's an arms race. And I think that was very appropriate at the time what we were doing in 2005, 6 at the time that we were stopping focusing on what we were doing, just how much we were doing it. And
no, we were focusing on how we were doing it. Now we are focusing more on what we are doing, and it makes a difference.
Yeah, but isn't that like where the state of the 4Ks are right now, or 4Ks and 8Ks?
Yeah,
And
maybe.
1Ks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's potentially true. I'm not deep enough to know those, but yeah, certainly I think any art form in the scene at some point they will stop doing fully technical things where you start you have 4 parts and you have music all the way and
What about old school?
Oh, that's
old school.
They will.
I don't want to get into a fist
They
fight
will
anymore.
die.
but-
They
You
will
can't
get at the
change
point
an old
eventually.
Yeah.
dog any new tricks.
Hat fast geklappt. Fast.
But yeah, I mean, certainly, I feel with this intro, especially, we sort of moved away from what people would like us to do, and instead we just did what we wanted to do. It's like complete opposite of what we did last year. So 64K is an interesting thing because it's just small enough to be challenging, but it's big enough to be able to realize ideas that most people wouldn't think it was possible.
Yeah, more or less everything.
Yeah. It's a lot more than what most people would think.
Actually, we're scared of doing actual demos because we're afraid.
Oh no, scaling up never works.
You're not the only
I
ones.
personally am because
You
I'm
are
scared
not the
of
only ones.
the infinite possibilities of creative expression. I like the limitations.
Scaling up is always horrible.
And I hate to if I were to face up to skill, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
That's actually the reason why 64K is to me the perfect demo size.
Don't try to scale it up.
Because
Don't try to do
sounds like a
animations
law.
in 64K.
It's still a limitation, but it's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
impressive if you manage to make it.
Smells, but do it.
It's from Alcatraz. It must
Tastes
be
like grass.
Yeah, it does taste like your lawnmower. Yes.
One thing I've always wondered about is those possibilities and stuff. How much stuff do you throw away?
Very little.
Yeah,
No.
we talked about this earlier. We throw away very little, a couple of scenes at most a year.
But that was with off-screen colonies. We threw away a lot. Because there was a scene with the bollards and.
Now I'm interested as
That was a
well.
test scene.
What do you throw?
Yeah, but
We had
like
a
2
single
or 3
test
scenes
scene
that
for
didn't make it.
What do you throw away? Do you throw away content or
Like
code?
the control
Content.
test
Content,
component, for example.
code is basically
Because we get through
code gets
content
if
is
that's
really we got a logarithmic thing for our code for our data. So the data grows logarithmically. So it's much easier for us to throw away code. How does it work for you?
No, not in this case.
code gets lectured.
Okay.
Yeah. Code you just optimize, but content, like sort of code depends on content because if he wants to use something that we need, that we can't throw it away.
We throw out things that don't seem to work. Like I start some scenes and
those things
they
never
don't
get
anywhere.
to us.
Okay.
And I throw them away right away.
And we don't even see
But most of the time we don't even see it.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember any scenes that we threw out. I mean, ever.
Do you probably in OC we did a lot.
I think that they don't talk. They just send like instructions to each other.
You would
No,
be surprised
I
how
am
true
not a
that
robot.
is. let me
still have
We
to
learned
solve
that
the
it works
reality
in
of it,
German,
because
so
we consider like ourselves friends.
We don't.
We are partners.
Fight!
Or like maybe colleagues or something. I don't know.
We used to be colleagues.
Oh right, okay.
Coop, we are an entity.
Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. When I start working on the audio, I know it has to pass him. But you know,
that's something to behold.
Yeah, you say it has to pass him. For us, it's like, oh, we are happy we're getting smarter.
But you know, I think the idea is that both him and I are perfectionists in our ways.
Yeah. He wants me to push him.
Yeah. I would never admit to it, but it's true.
and that's a lie.
And that's a lie. Yeah, no, it's just like
make Gaga great again.
it's true. It's just that, like, at some point, there's always in the creative process when you're, you know, quote unquote an artist. There's always a point where you lose perspective of what you're doing.
Yeah.
But he still has, he's no idea what's behind it, no idea the technicality of it. He just knows that it's like, yeah, it doesn't fit. I mean, he does that too. One of my favorite, if you go to the SoundCloud page of Offstream Connie's track, there's a comment from him. I labeled all, I pasted all the Skype messages that they had, called the Conspiracy Micromanagement Minutes.
You did that?
Yes, I did.
Wow. You using Scrum.
You really don't.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, basically he wanted to say like, you know, from the 3rd minute, the 12th note, that doesn't fit.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? But I mean, in a sort of roundabout way, he ended up being right because I rewrote that whole section, and you know. With him, for this particular intro, there were things that I won when it comes to decisions, and there were things that, you know, he said like we should. I mean, I told him that we should credit him with additional sound design because he even had some ideas like just put it all the way up and it will work, and it did work. You know, it's like
that sounds like a good idea for many.
But that's what I don't understand, because I understand why it works for you, because that sounds really logical to me, because we are a small team as well. But how does it work for you, like in Mercury? Because you're
large.
You're a large group.
7 with the Mercury 7. We are not large.
Yeah, we heard about that.
How do you communicate when you do your production?
More than twice the size.
Okay, we have.
I swallowed something.
There was a piece of grass.
It's just grass. It's okay.
It's completely edible.
Because it's really easy when one graphician and one coder and one musician.
I'll outline how we communicate. We have an IRC channel.
Yep.
And we have a bot in there. And
okay.
The bot.
Evil bot.
Yes, and the bot pastes every SVN. Commit message inside the channel, so we see everything is going on in the repository.
Is that the bot that also collects all the images from?
And it's also the same bot collects all images that are pasted.
Why?
Because we don't want to lose them.
They are very German.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Ask the guy who saves every single image in his browser into some.
No.
Because I didn't know that.
He told me he did that.
No. We have a folder where we collect concept art, but that's different.
Nobody ever looks at it.
No. Let me put it this way: when we're in the concept art phase, Boise and I don't contribute. We just watch.
That's strange. I hate to say this to you, but I do sometimes.
I don't want to get into fist fights. I think I'm storing my energies to the music phase.
I show him stuff. Maybe he does like it. Maybe he doesn't.
Let me put it this way: conspiracy is a dysfunctional family that sort of works.
Yeah, but I like to know why.
But you get surprised every time you get the production.
Let me put it this way.
It sounds like
not a redneck one.
A three-way abusive relationship.
Absolutely, yes. But let me put it this way. It was in January. It was in January when we had this actual physical meeting. We haven't done that.
I just thought for a second that you would say physical fist fight.
Soon.
Almost.
But it was when we just gathered up and we just wanted to talk about like what do we want to do.
Getting it up is.
But it's just sort of like let's just sit down like as people, not just on the chat, and just talk about what we want to do, and it really helped focusing on what we wanted to do.
Yeah. Okay, so that is an extraordinary thing for you.
Garga, you know that
we used to work in the same office, but we don't anymore. So.
Yeah, but
you know that two things happen
down
there.
and talking about what you really want is not something you do like. Often?
Well,
we didn't do that for off-screen colonies. No, it didn't happen for
I
off-screen.
have no idea how you managed to pull it off then.
I was in San Francisco at the time
him.
because these people were nagging about is it on? Is it on?
Mostly, yeah.
But you gonna shared responsibility on that one.
Yeah,
you were there.
Yeah,
you were there, and you were not stopping him.
These discussions about what it is, we actually want to take about 50% of our time at least in total.
Wow.
We spend about 50% of the time arguing what kind of a demo do we actually want to do.
But that's about 49% of your time that you could spare to make a demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
in online, I still don't understand what kind of a demo we actually did.
See, that's what we should, like when it comes to deciding what kind of demo would he want. He always has the final word, pretty much.
And that's because he's always right.
No, it's more like based on the history of what we've done so far.
Because
he has a good track record, so why wouldn't we listen to him? And it's sort of like I know whatever he comes up with, the music for it is going to be painful. I'm going to hate it. But in the end, when it shows up in the competition, I'm not going to think I did the best work I did.
Garga, one thing about that meeting that we had in January or something.
Yeah, something like that.
You know what came out of that? We didn't decide on this demo. We decided on the next one.
we just wanted this to be small and experimental.
Beyond 2, I guess.
No.
And somehow came to know, but
it's on the list, but no.
What your next demo plan is.
You will know. You will know at the
I know it already.
No, you don't. You will know it at the competition.
Yes.
Let me answer.
And when I leak screenshots to Coupe.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
The question was.
You are the spy
because he's my friend.
About our communication methods, which is just really we have an IRC channel. We hang around in it all the time.
Yeah, we really talk daily.
Yeah, and
we don't daily.
And if we need to discuss something in detail, we put on a Skype
or TeamViewer or
whatever, or something like that.
I can see it's like the two extremes where at one end you just want to involve everyone who's sort of there.
No, everyone who wants.
Yeah, well, everyone possible, I guess that's the word. But in our case, we just sort of know what each of us are doing, and sort of
what you do now.
When it comes to music, I know I'm a musician in the sense, but sort of I still have to defer to him because it's his vision, right? So I have to serve him.
What if you have a vision?
Okay, I just thought
I
work on synthesizers.
But so you have a vision for a song, and you have a very rough vision for a vision that you go with it, and you
then it might, and I might, it's the idea that if he doesn't like it, then I can't get him to like it, right?
Yeah, but that's the other way around.
Okay, that's like a personal.
He doesn't have a choice.
You're the host of the Late Night Studio. That's some kind of personal discussion.
More or less.
I think as a visitor here, so maybe you want to lead.
If you want some
something
insight on how work works, I feel I have no control over what Red does, no control over what Cooper does, and no control over what Abductee does, and I love it this way.
Yes, and it's
you do.
In the other way around.
Yeah. And we're all happy if any one of other people contributes.
I think what you're trying to say, or not trying to say, but sort of like the end result is that like I have self-confidence issues and being
No.
Wait, let me explain.
All the time, you're making no sense.
That's not mutually exclusive, but as soon as I can defer to someone who has a good track record, about what I'm doing, then that gives me sort of a more solid base in terms of what I'm trying to do. So as soon as he passes off on the soundtrack saying, okay, this is good enough, then I know it's good enough, you know, and that good enough is more than what I would think is good enough.
Dude, I want to have your self-confidence issues because
No, you don't. You really don't, and I mean that honestly.
Each of us knows that. At least I have no self-confidence issues with this stuff I produce. I produce it and it gets used in the demo, and Red produces the soundtrack and it gets used. I think we never explicitly said this is good enough. It just in the end it was the SVN state and we compiled it.
We just
you
say things like there's this final.
There's the
do you want to
difference.
add something? Like I think this part could have been
Usually
could be a little bit
a
faster.
bit more like
You asked me before, basically to get to the point what the difference between the processes is. We have a guy that can veto things. You don't.
No, we don't.
And that's the difference.
You have three guys that can veto things.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Because like this morning, 6 a.m., like 10 a.m., Boise comes out. It's like, you want to take a look at the intro? And I'm like, sure, maybe I have something input. I look at the intro, and I just thought, like, you know, these scenes should be switched in order. And Boise saying, like, yeah, I thought about that. Then Zoom comes along and says, yeah, that's actually a good idea. So I had my input, and I had my input in Off-Screen Colonies as well. In the
we never had a fight on this
but
before, and that's the point. We three kind of think alike.
It's terrible to think alike.
I just want to mention that's not my studio anymore. It's the Gaga late night show by now.
No. It's
time we went
the show is. I like to think that this show is about people who try to do their best for something that doesn't pay off in the end.
And failed.
Literally, I mean, there's no money in it for us, you know. I paid my entrance fee from last year's prize money. You know, it's like.
Sorry, even the host has to pay here, so.
That's really pessimistic to say. There's a lot of it.
No. I'm saying like,
do let us know.
Outside the scene, most people wouldn't get it.
I don't care.
Yeah, no, I don't care either. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. I'm just saying, like, you know, from the worst perspective available, it's just something most people don't understand. But let me put it this way. It's been the second year that I've sat next to these guys watching their intro and our intro, and you know, it's the goosebumps and thrill and the sort of camaraderie / rivalry / whatever close you get before making out kind of thing.
Too much information.
A 64K combo is the closest you can get to making out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like we had a few sort of years of dry spell between. I guess Actuator was the last one, and then Off-Screen Colonies. But now it feels like fun again. It feels like fun again. You know,
it's not a chore anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as dark as the intro was, it was super fun to make.
Yeah.
So maybe that's those are good closing words.
No.
Yeah. Shut up! You don't get the say.
Who are you anyway?
We want to continue the circle jerk.
Unless you publish it.
What intro did you make?
Yeah, exactly.
If you make a 64K intro, do not make it work.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, it doesn't have to be 64K. You just have to find the right people.
Can be 63K.
It cannot be 65K though.
65K.
Yeah.
65K compo.
That's what I've heard.
As soon as you have the personal connection between people, it just makes it a whole lot easier. And like last year when we had like the Mercury guys, Proximate guys, and us working on together, you know, in inverted quotes, I guess. But we knew that everyone was trying their best to bring it. It just made something like that was more than the sum of its parts. And I think it was because you know 64K is slowly coming back in the sense that
I think it is
rapidly.
What?
It's up to
I
you
think it's
guys.
getting
Well, it's
pretty
still
fast.
And up to
still the same
him.
names.
He was the one missing out.
Next time.
Let me put it this way: in the awards last year, there were still non-64K
sound.
intros.
I had a plan.
and we cannot have that.
Yes.
Yeah, make 64 great again.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
We can all
Because
do
they're
that.
huge.
Yes. Cheers for that.
Make 64K great again.
Yeah, and
Maybe
Let's
those
drink
are
to
good
that.
closing words.
Yes. Let's close on the words of Donald Trump. Good.
I think maybe just use the cheers part and
Cheers and
I do my part with this show. And let's conclude our late night
drink, you
studio
guys.
with the host
It smells
Gaga.
like
Gaga.
good
Keep talking.
Tomorrow. Thank you.
Yeah, tune in tomorrow for Late Night with Gaga.